Dr. Aurangzeb Khan, thank you very much for granting this interview to Lead Pakistan and Politics and Development magazine. My first question is that what is the biggest achievement that the world has made at Cancun? Concrete, that could be tangible, not in terms of philosophy.
I think a lot of people are talking about it. The biggest achievement is to bringing this negotiation back on track. Like what the miseries or the failures were at Copenhagen and afterwards, I think those were solved and we were back on track. And then the other bigger achievement will be the Green Climate Fund, and then the Adaptation Committee, which is agreed by the developed countries. That's what for the world. And I would also like to add from Pakistan side that I consider it, this was my first conference, and I consider it is very well represented delegation from Pakistan, courtesy to LEAD and CDKN, because we were able to participate in different sessions, and one of our major concern was within our developing countries to address the issue of vulnerability and who are the most vulnerable countries. So far, Pakistan has not been included as one of the most vulnerable countries because there are other groups like LDC and SAID. So we made a campaign to make a group including Pakistan and Colombia and Indonesia and Philippines and 10 other 15 countries within the group 77 and China to
include Pakistan as
to
the most
include
so
these countries among the most
why
countries.
Pakistan has not been included as the most vulnerable country yet? What is the
Yeah, there's different yardsticks, and I think the one of the major criteria is GDP. We are among the countries which have better GDP. So that's I think one criteria. There's a lot of poor countries in Africa and even the least developed countries currently being chaired by Bangladesh. They have a lot of other countries. Pakistan is not part of that one. So Pakistan was missing in different groups, although everybody agreed. Even the
so what has to be done to have Pakistan included in the list of most vulnerable countries?
To have stronger delegations in these conferences, and before going to those conferences, make concrete preparations, discussing those.
Was the present delegation not strong enough?
It was strong enough, but still I will say it was not as well prepared as I would like
what
to see.
What was missing, please?
The missing was that it was not very well coordinated. The number and members of the delegations were not selected in an appropriate time and manner, and the preparation to that conference, deliberations on different issues which are to be discussed in there, because everything was clear. I mean, these conferences.
Why all these things could not happen? Because Pakistan is participating in these conferences for a long time.
Again, I will say,
it was known that
it gets better and better every year. Last year when they went to Copenhagen, they were, I think, even weaker in their preparation. Although on one aspect it was a bit better, but I wouldn't say that where individual persons do matter. So when you lose one person from the team, then whole chemistry changes. But overall, with
who was leading this delegation of Pakistan?
On the paper, it was the Ministry of Environment, and well,
Environment Minister was the leader.
You know, the conference was for 13 days. For first 4 or 5 days, myself, Dr. Pervez Amir, DG Environment Javed Ali Khan, and Farrokh from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I think 7 or 8 other people were there. But before going over there, it was decided that Secretary Environment will be the leader of the delegation until Minister reaches there. But he was a bit late. He was there on 5th, and so was the Minister. From then onward, it was the Ministry of
So you
Environment.
are right that there was no coordination.
I would say there's well, it didn't went the way it should have.
Okay.
For example, from Bangladesh, there were about 70 to 80 people in their
70
delegation.
to 80 people.
70
And,
to
and
80
how many were from Pakistan?
I don't know the exact number because originally we planned for 39 to 40.
Okay.
But the end, I think 23 to 25 were able to there for different periods of time.
Dr. Khan, you must have interacted with your counterparts there,
Yes.
particularly counterparts in the region.
Mhm.
Kindly compare that how, kindly prepare that to what extent they were prepared, other countries,
Uh,
as compared to Pakistan, vis-a-vis Pakistan.
I will say it was not much difference among many countries as far as the preparation was concerned. For example, from Colombia, the lady we were interacting the most, she was also first comer there, and she played a very positive role in our
No, I'm not
interaction.
talking about, I'm talking about Asia.
Okay.
Like Asian countries, SAARC countries, were they better prepared as compared to Pakistan, or less prepared as compared to Pakistan?
Uh, well, if you see the number of their delegates, I think they were well prepared, they were well represented. At this, in these conferences, there are sometimes 8 to 10 different sessions going on at the same time. So you need to have 2 to 3%, at least 2% for each session, so that they are there for the whole time. They can contribute there. So from that point of view, we were not enough
All
people
right.
there right in the beginning.
What were the Pakistan's major issues, apprehensions, or
As I said earlier, our major.
what Pakistan was negotiating at the conference?
Well, Pakistan wasn't negotiating anything on an individual basis, but from individual point of view, as I said earlier, we were very much concerned about inclusion of Pakistan among the most vulnerable countries. And
So that was the top agenda.
top agenda was on the adaptation committee. In the adaptation, the definition of vulnerable country, we wanted to have some changes in that one. Although uh, we didn't want to make any.
Do you think Pakistan is really the most vulnerable? Should be included in the most vulnerable
It's
country?
not the most.
On what basis?
It's not the most vulnerable country, but it's among the most vulnerable countries. And I will quote even the opening speech by the President of Mexico and a lot of other speakers. They did mention the floods of Pakistan.
Okay.
And this was one of a major example and evidence of climate change. So if everybody was using this, why not? The country who is affected by that, they should be in a better position. I still believe that we couldn't make this example or this effect or impact of these floods on Pakistan as a strong case as is it could have been, because we were not being represented in each and every session. We have some limitation.
What has been your personal contribution to Cancun?
I was
Your
responsible
precise
for
role.
adaptation group.
Okay.
And within the adaptation group, I was concerned about inclusion of Pakistan in the most vulnerable countries. And it's not that simple. I mean, just changing one word over there, it takes a lot of time. And sometimes you get very frustrated that 193 countries, and within that you have different groups, and within that we have Group 77 in China, and within that we have our own meetings, and still you are saying that okay, you need to put or is here,
So
and that takes a lot of
to
debate.
what extent Pakistan was able to convince the other countries that it must be included in the list of most vulnerable countries?
Our first target was to convince Group 77 in China, because when it comes to terror, when it comes to funding from the developed countries to the developing countries for adaptation, we talk about 100 billion or whatever the amount is, then who is going to get that? And they have criteria of LDC and SAIDs and the most vulnerable countries. So our concern was to include Pakistan in that. And from that point of view, I think we campaigned for a separate group, which I will say that Colombia, Pakistan, Philippines, Indonesia,
So by what time we will come to know that Pakistan has been included in the list of most vulnerable countries?
You will see the definition here, which has come out of the agreement, Cancun agreement. Pakistan is not specifically included, but Pakistan was never excluded from this, because this it starts from all the developing countries, most vulnerable countries, and then it further says like, so African countries and least developing countries.
Is India in that list?
No. India is not.
Okay.
Bangladesh is there.
Bangladesh is.
Bangladesh there. So no specific countries there. I mean, countries are not mentioned there.
Okay.
But when LDCs and SIDS, these are specific countries,
Okay.
which are the small island countries, which are the least developed countries. So Pakistan is not among the SIDS, not among the LDCs. But we have multifaceted kind of challenges, right from
SID is
small island developing countries.
okay. And
if it's 12 countries, it's not part of
LCD?
least 12 countries.
Okay.
So because our GDP was better when these groupings were made, we were not part of that.
So Pakistani politician must be very happy that the GDP is better.
Well, when you are in these kind of negotiation, we like to make it more realistic, and then add to the floods and the droughts.
Changing the topic a little bit, Dr. Saab, how do you see the role of CDKN in this agenda of climate change?
The climate change.
CDKN, Climate Development Knowledge Network.
I think it has a very important role to play. For me, we have been interacting since last year or so with LEAD on this one, and as I could understand this is a very good initiative from DFID, I believe, in Pakistan, and LEAD is interested with this responsibility. Uh, they are doing, they may be doing a lot of things, but to me, the best thing would be to do in collaboration with government of Pakistan, agencies, what we are doing, and the civil society
Is
organizations.
CDKN not working with the government of
It
Pakistan?
is.
It is working.
Yeah. And the example here was contributing for the delegation for Cancun. I think this was one major contribution. At the end, it matters what Pakistan achieves there. If something was achieved by CDKN individually, or LEAD, or IUCN, or other agencies, that may be a very smaller thing compared to what Pakistan could achieve. So my presence there, uh, Kamar Zaman's presence there, and a lot of other professional presence there was because of CDKN. So I think that was a very good part, a contribution made by CDKN. That's one part. The other thing is to own the climate change uh, 5-year plan, what is in offering in Planning Commission.